So Edge of Tomorrow, with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt, Bill Paxton, is, on the surface, is a science fiction movie set a couple years in the future after there's been an alien invasion that has swept through Europe. And sorry to say for your French audience that France has been decimated. It should seem reminiscent, though, of World War II. The United Defense Force, the nations that are still have armies, are launching a massive counter-assault from England to go into France and try to drive the aliens back. And that's the setup for the film. That's when the film starts. And really what it is a love story between Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt behind enemy lines. And the aliens are almost an afterthought. It's all character driven. It's their, I love World War II movies. I love how war brings out, true heroism and brings out sort of simple, strong qualities. And the reality is, like, modern war films, I don't love as much because they're sort of filled with grays. It's like, are we doing the right thing? Are we not doing the right thing? Like, World War II was such a great setting for movies because you had like a very clear villain. Like, it was, sorry for your German audience, but like, kill the Germans. Like, that's a good thing. It's like and everyone's wearing a uniform, so who's on which side. Like, movies set today in Iraq or Afghanistan, it's like, it's so muddy and the lines aren't drawn that clear. So I really sort of saw this opportunity of an alien invasion as a way to sort of get back to a simpler time when the enemy was very clearly the enemy and clearly needed to be stopped. And you knew who was on which side, and there was no ambiguity about it. I've been talking to Tom Cruise for a while about trying to find a film to do together, and when I started working on this project, he was the first one I went to. And I had an idea for, what I loved about the hero in this film is what an anti-hero they are. And I'm drawn to anti-heroes in general. I mean, if you look at Bourne Identity, Jason Bourne is a homicidal killer. I mean, he kills people for a living. And Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they kill people for a living, and they have no regrets about it. And fair game, Joe Wilson's motivations for, writing that article are complicated at say the least. And obviously the characters are all doing something bad, and it's, so I'm drawn to, I'm not drawn to squeaky clean heroes. And I had this idea for this film of, we could see a different Tom Cruise. We could see a Tom Cruise who is terrified, not heroic, trying to figure out how to save himself, trying to, like a true coward. And, it was the fun of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, was showing people a different Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie than they'd seen before, that were much more comedic than they'd seen before. And in a way, the chance to sort of take Tom Cruise and reinvent him. I mean, given how many movies he's been in, is there a way to show people an original Tom Cruise? And we really did that. And it's the thing I'm most proud of in Edge of Tomorrow is, obviously Emily Blunt's never done a movie like this before, so it's Emily Blunt. It's a totally original character, and Tom Cruise's character is an amazing character. It's a brilliant performance by him, and it's just nothing like you've ever seen him do before. So,
interesting.
How did I know that?
Yes.
How do I know Emily Blunt would be right for Edge of Tomorrow? I mean, how do you know that Matt Damon, who'd done Ripley, would be right for Bourne Identity? You don't. You meet them, and that to me is the most exciting thing, is looking at an actor and coming up with something new for them to do that they've never done before.
That's a big risk.
Well, it's the excitement. I mean, the whole film is a risk. Like, I'm only interested in taking chances and risks. If I was interested in playing it safe, I would just be churning out Bourne Identity sequels, or, like that would be, I'd rather be on the farm than doing that. So just making a science fiction movie when I've never done it before is a risk. And I just really, maybe because a film like Swingers that launched my career was filled with risks every step along the way. There was nothing safe about that movie, and it was the result was so successful. And then Go was a risky move, and that film was really successful for me. And then Born Identity was really risky and was even more successful. So I think I got lucky that early on my risk taking was rewarded, and so now I'm only interested in taking risks.